We've been reading a lot of stories about Strega Nona by Tomie dePaola, and I have one that we haven't read yet, and it's called Strega Nona's Harvest. So I'm going to try to read it, and I'll show you the pictures as close as I can, but this book is really heavy, so I hope it doesn't wobble too much. Hang in there. Strega Nona's Harvest. It was spring, and all the snow had melted. The rich earth was beginning to warm. Strega Nona pulled out a small wooden box that had been hidden away in the dark cupboard all winter. "Aha," she said as she took out small packets of seeds she had saved from last year's garden. "Chi siete, I miei amici piccoli?" Here you are, my little friends. Do you think Big Anthony and Bombolona know what's inside these envelopes? Look at their faces. Here we go. "Why were all those seeds in the dark, Strega Nona?" Big Anthony asked. "Well, mio caro, my dear," Strega Nona answered, "they had to rest just like you do, so they'll be able to do their jobs when we plant them in the garden." "When will we plant them, Strega Nona?" Bombolona asked. "When La Luna, the moon, tells us, Bombolona. Then we will plant each kind of seed carefully in the right place. After all, we can't just throw the seeds into the ground in a big pile. A garden must be orderly so it's easy to pick the vegetables." Oh, and look at how neat and orderly her vegetable garden looks. "Now let me look at me Libro di Giardino garden book to see what we did last year." Every year, Strega Nona wrote down in her book what she planted, when, and where. She never put the same vegetables in the same spot. "We have to move them around," she said. She told her young helpers, "so the soil will stay happy and strong. But first, Anthony, you must spread the compost and manure we saved all winter and rake it into the soil so our vegetables will grow big and beautiful as can be." So Big Anthony put a clothespin on his nose and did his job. The manure is from the cows, and it looks like it smells terrible. Look how Tomie dePaola drew these lines to show you where the smell is. It doesn't look like a delightful smell, does it? "Children, come," called Strega Nona. "It's almost the end of Maggio, May, and there will be a full moon tonight. It's time to plant. Now, Anthony, I want you to make nice straight rows in the soil with the end of the hoe. That's where the seeds will go." "Big Anthony," Bombolona scolded, "you're not making the rows straight enough. You know that Strega Nona likes everything perfect." She added, "And so do I." Bombolona is so bossy, Big Anthony thought. Someday I'll show her I can do something perfect too. Boy, those two look really irritated with each other, don't they? Oh, and here is a great picture of all the things that she's planting. And you can see the names in Italian. And it looks like I see pumpkin and squash and eggplant, peas, and what is that? Cavolo? Do you think that's broccoli or lettuce? Let's see. Tomatoes, zucchinis, artichokes, fagiolo. I think those are beans, and melons. And there they are, planting all the seeds and watering as they go. That night, when the moon was full in the sky, Strega Nona quietly crept out to the garden. She looked up at the moon and sang, "O bella luna, smile on me and the seeds I sow, and let the moonbeams shine from thee to make my garden grow. And now for the ingrediente segreto, the secret ingredient." Strega Nona blew 3 kisses to the moon. "Oh," said Big Anthony as he watched her. Suddenly he spied some seeds that had dropped on the ground. "I know, I'll plant my own perfect garden behind the goat shed. I'll show Bombolona." So Big Anthony poked some holes in the ground. He threw in the seeds and covered them with compost and manure. He watered and watered. Ooh. Do you see straight rows? Let me show you the page. I think he did it the Big Anthony way. Then he sang Strega Nona's song. "O bella luna, smile on me and the seeds I sow, and let the moonbeams shine from thee to make my garden really grow." He blew the 3 kisses to the moon, and just to be sure, he blew 3 more. And as it did every year, Strega Nona's garden grew beautifully. Big Anthony's garden is over here. Strega Nona's garden is over here. You can see when it starts out, you see the straight rows, and you see all the holes everywhere. And things are coming in straight rows. And in Big Anthony's, they're coming in everywhere. Soon, bright green insalata salad was on the table. Fresh peas were added to the pasta from Strega Nona's pasta pot. Green beans were cooked in olive oil, and other vegetables were growing beautifully too. Big Anthony's secret garden was growing as well, but not quite so beautifully. It looked like a jungle. Mamma mia, Big Anthony thought. I can't let Bombolona or Strega Nona see this mess. Big Anthony's garden, you can see it coming in here, and then when it comes in, I can see some pumpkins. And there's Strega Nona's garden, and when it's coming in still in those neat rows. Now it was time to harvest the vegetables that Strega Nona would keep over the winter. It wasn't long before the root cellar and the rafters in the kitchen were full. Molto bene, very good, said Strega Nona to Bombolona and Big Anthony. A job well done. We all deserve a good rest. But Big Anthony didn't have time to rest. He had other work to do. I've got to pick all my vegetables. What will I do with them, he said. The next morning when Strega Nona opened her door, she found a big pile of vegetables. Santo cielo, good heavens, Strega Nona said. Where did these come from? She called Big Anthony and Bombolona. My children, please carry all these vegetables into the kitchen. Grazie, thank you. There's lots of loads of vegetables. Every morning there were more vegetables outside the door. Soon there was hardly any room to move in the kitchen. Maybe these are from the villagers, Strega Nona thought. Perhaps they too had a good harvest. Well, I must find out, and soon. If this goes on, I won't have room to sleep in my little bed at night. The next morning, Strega Nona packed a basket of vegetables. I'll take these to the sisters in the convent, and maybe they'll know something. Oh, grazie, Strega Nona, said the Mother Superior. You must have heard our prayers. Our garden didn't do well this season. In fact, no one's garden in the village did. We had too much rain down here while you had lots of sun on your hill. So Strega Nona went right to the mayor. See, yes, Strega Nona, Senor Mayor said. The harvest was poor this year. Well, I have more than enough to share, Strega Nona said. I'll have a harvest feast tomorrow evening at sundown. Tell everyone to come. And Strega Nona practically ran up to her little house. Bombolona, Big Anthony, quickly, Strega Nona said. We have much work to do. I'm going to have a harvest feast for all of our friends and neighbors. We shall share our bounty. Oh, and look at that. Look at all the food. Everyone's coming, and look, they're all leaving with something too. What's in their wheelbarrows and bowls, and what are they carrying? Looks like all kinds of vegetables. Let's see what Strega Nona's house looks like now. Evviva, evviva, hooray, hooray for Strega Nona, everyone shouted. Arrivederci, buonanotte, goodbye, good night, Strega Nona and her two helpers called out. Strega Nona looked around at her empty kitchen. Well, that took care of that, she said with a smile. But I still wonder where all those vegetables came from. And she climbed into bed. Later that night, what happened? He still had more vegetables. That was Strega Nona by Tomie dePaola. There's a lot of great stories that Tomie dePaola has written and illustrated. I hope you find some and have some at home.